2 years left is really not, to me, is not a long time to risk potential injury, to have to, as you mentioned, to have to move to a different place where you're just going to be there for 2 years. So relocate your entire family, and then after 2 or 3 years, relocate again to where ultimately he wants to live after he stops playing soccer. For what? For more trophies, for more glory? He's already won it all with Barcelona.
Yes. And you're listening to the Brown Perspective. And today we are having a conversation that no Barcelona fan ever thought we were gonna have. And that is the news that Leo Messi is not staying at Barcelona.
Did you
Mira, yo creo que hoy es un día muy triste
did you guys
para el
expect him
pibe.
to did you guys expect him to finish his career at Barcelona?
I did. I think I wanted him to be that rare athlete that was going to have the opportunity to begin and end his career at Barcelona.
You,
That said, I do understand that he, like anyone else, particularly somebody who has accomplished so much, is also ready for a change, right? And I think, como dijo Mercedes Sosa, cambia todo cambia. So maybe it's time for a change, and perhaps this would be the best thing for him and for the club. But nonetheless, I think that what's nice is that after the drama that transpired last year about his desire to leave but not being able to because of the contract, and him not wanting to sue the club just because he felt that that sense of loyalty towards the club and everything that they did and meant to him, that it seems that they were able to negotiate, get to a place, and now they've made a decision that I guess it's best for them to go their separate ways.
that's exactly what I was thinking. That it's so rare to find athletes that play with one team their entire career. Kobe
Hmm.
Bryant, I know he had mentioned a few times that he was a Laker for life. Even Jordan couldn't do that. Right? He went to the Wizards afterwards. You have Brady going to the Buccaneers. It's not many.
And winning.
Yeah, maybe that's part of the reason also why they leave, because they want to make sure that they get to win somewhere else, so that people don't make excuses that, oh well, you won because you had this coach, or you had this offensive coordinator, or these coaches, or these players, whatever, right? They want to leave their mark by proving that they can win with another team. But I don't know. I actually did think that Messi was going to be one of those players that did finish his career with Barcelona. So it caught me by surprise when you mentioned it to me. Seems like there's a lot of drama. I started reading about it. There's always politics. There's always money involved, and he probably got caught up in between a lot of that. Do you think the fans are going to turn on him, or a percentage? What percentage of fans do you think are going to turn on him once he leaves?
It's interesting. I think it would be a relatively small number, just because the way that things are finishing. I think before the start of the season, um, the fact that this was something that he telegraphed as of last year, and I think fans also know that in some ways that the club is there's been a lot of turmoil in the leadership of the club,
Mm-hmm.
and I think in some ways this would be a good opportunity for Barcelona to sort of uh, reassess and reflect on how it can reconnect with its with its sort of spirit, and it's because in reality is that Barcelona was an amazing club before Messi came, but obviously having Messi and having the so many other players that sort of formed, that were part of that generation, that was not just so important to Barcelona Football Club, but to the Spanish team, the team that won two Euro Cups and the World Cup. I mean, that was probably some of the best soccer I've seen in my life, with Messi, with Xavi, and Iniesta, and sort of the dream team of sorts. Um, so I think that fans appreciate what he did for the club, the victories that he mm, he brought, and the fact that he's always been very classy. I know that it's not only going to be hard for him to leave, but also for his family, right? His kids have grown up and were born and have been growing up in Barcelona, so it'll be difficult for them to pick up and leave and go to another city.
Mm-hmm.
But it is what it is, and I think in some ways too. I know earlier this summer, he finally got
Mm-hmm.
Cop, that international
Cup.
trophy, Copa
Yeah.
America, which was, and I think it was great to see the whole world sort of be happy for him. Obviously, there's people who hate him, and haters will hate, but I think he's also at 34. He probably has 2 good years to play at a pretty high level, and I know we next year we have the Qatar World Cup. So who knows, that could be his last opportunity to get the big trophy.
And all they had to do for Messi to win was get rid of Higuain.
well,
Oh
well,
man.
that and also have a healthy Di Maria.
Oh, I was about to say it was Di Maria did not disappoint, and
Good.
really it was Di Maria that gave him that trophy,
Hmm.
not Higuain. So I was glad to see it. I'm not a big fan of the Argentine team collectively because they always mock Mexicans when they beat Mexico.
Hmm.
And they beat them often, but I've always admired and respected Messi. I like the way that he handles himself. I like how humble and modest he seems. At least I obviously don't know him in real life, so I can just go based on what I see. But part of me is thinking, does it really matter at this point that he's leaving? He's already 34, right? If I'm Messi, 34 in soccer is a dinosaur at this point. I mean, his knees, or I don't know what type of problems, physical problems he may have from the wear and tear. But look, just walk away from the game at this age if he still has his health, relatively good health. He already won that international cup. Maybe he could take a stab at the next World Cup, but that's it. But in the meantime, just try to rest and try to get ready for the next World Cup. And if he wins it, good. If not, then just call it quits and go out high. What's he gonna do? I mean, how many more years do you give him? At most another 3 years. By the time he's 37, I mean, he's not gonna be playing by the time he's 40.
He could
Def,
be. He could come. I think the hope is that he comes to MLS. Hopefully, he will come to the MLS before he turns 40.
but what's the expression that I have in Spanish? Why would he come to MLS nada más para dar lástima?
No
No, I'm
para la
just
lástima, no para glorificar la liga.
no. It doesn't work because they come over here when they're spent, when they have nothing left in the tank, really. And so no one. I look at the MLS and they bring all these older players, and I'm like, great, you brought in an old player. Can you bring some players when they're in their prime? It's not until they bring the players when they're in their prime that this league is not gonna really go up in profile. So I don't
Yeah,
really
good
know how
point.
much it'll help to have Messi at this age. Well, obviously, no, Messi's unique. It will help, but ultimately, the league needs to have a lot of young players that are in their prime, a lot of players that they were able to get from the European leagues and bring them to MLS. One player is not going to make a difference as long sustained difference because once Messi retires, the MLS will be back at square one. So, I mean, that would be my advice if I knew Messi. It's like, hey, man, just at this point, just walk away. If you're still healthy, you don't want to be running around chasing a ball at 36, 37 because you also increase your chances of injury. So,
Yeah, you do, but I think he's
by the
also
way, you could tell right away that I am not an athlete in any way just because I'm here dismissing the connection that this man has to the game, right? So I'm just kind of like talking over that, like, that doesn't mean anything, man. Just walk away from the game.
That's what I'm telling you. Yeah, I'm trying to tell you that that's one of the reasons why Brady hasn't retired, why so many people, Ibrahimovic hasn't retired, and actually Ibrahimovic is one of those rare
Yeah, he's
examples of
killing it.
somebody
Yeah.
who came to the Galaxy and then went back to Italian soccer, and he's helping um, Milan do so much better now. So yeah, and I think in order to play at the level that Messi has played, I mean, it takes an amount of just passion and competitiveness. So I think he's probably gonna play until maybe he has one of those injuries, or maybe he just decides it's time to go. But I do think that he has at least two good years of soccer left in him, and also appreciating that as an older player, yeah, maybe you're not as fast, maybe you're not the same that you used to be, but the reality is your game IQ is a lot higher, and the passes, your awareness is so much better. And I feel like at the age that Messi is, you understand the game at such a deep level that you enjoy playing it, and you play it differently, even if you don't have that same speed. And I think he still has some of that speed, but obviously he's not going to run circles around players like he used to. It will be interesting to see which league he ends up, because there's rumors that he may be going to the English league, whether that's with Pep Guardiola, his former coach from Barcelona, over at Man City, or maybe Liverpool, or who knows? Maybe there's I think it will be interesting to see Messi in the English league, to see if he could make it there, or maybe the Italian league, or one of those other competitive leagues where he can maintain that level and sharpen his conditioning for the World Cup.
If the goal is to just stay sharp for the World Cup, then I think I can see that. But because 2 years left is really not, to me, is not a long time to risk potential injury, to have to, as you mentioned, to have to move to a different place where you're just going to be there for 2 years, to relocate your entire family, and then after 2 or 3 years, relocate again to where ultimately he wants to live after he stops playing soccer. For what? For more trophies, for more glory. He's already won it all with Barcelona.
Yes,
The only thing
for
he
to
doesn't
break
have,
records.
the only thing he doesn't have is the World Cup, right? That's really at this point probably what the only thing that matters to him. What records is he trying to break? Most goals scored, or what most assists? Not assists. Assists don't really count in soccer, but what trophies won? The guys has won it all with Barcelona. We can list all of the trophies and competitions that they've won. If he's just gonna play 2 more years, he's been playing since he was 17, or professionally at least, right? Since when did he get promoted to the Barcelona, to the main squad? When he was like 17 or 18, he was playing for Argentina back in 2006. That's when he played in his first World Cup, when he scored that goal against, I think it was the Czech Republic. I still remember it.
Mhm.
But the guy's been playing for so long, man. Like 2 more years, yeah, it's nothing compared to like the stellar career that he's had. Just call it quits. Retire, take what he has right now, go out high, and then just maybe, okay, fine. He can retire and then play in the World Cup, right? Because he'll be rusty. So maybe come to the MLS, just run around and play in the kitty league, in the kid league with everyone else, and then be a little fresh for the World Cup, and hopefully he gets the World Cup, and then call it quits.
Either that, or also the other option would be go to the Chinese league and make buku dollars.
That's true. Yeah, no, that is true. That could be the wild card there. Yeah. Well, as I mentioned earlier, I'm glad he won it I'm glad he won Copa America, because at least a lot of the criticism that he would get from a lot of people just disappears. Now all they can say is that he never won the World Cup, but so did many other great players. They never won the World Cup.
That's so true. But I do think that if si Dios quiere, si Dios lo permite, if he stays healthy, if he finds another good sort of team where he can stay sharp, stay healthy, I think he certainly can play in the next World Cup, and he'll bring the experience and leadership that the Argentinian team would need to hopefully um, hopefully win the World Cup. I think it will be hard because as we saw in the Euros that also happened this summer, I mean, there's so many strong teams there, but Italy, kind of the resurgence of Italy. I think England, they finally made it to a final. They choked at the
Yeah.
end. I still don't understand why the coach would put
Yeah,
some of
the
his
rookie
most
kids. Yeah.
inexperienced players to take penalties when he still had some offensive minded veterans um, in that particular squad. But in any case, you also have Germany always dangerous, Spain always dangerous.
And France is
Uh,
still lethal.
mhm.
They that game they just they lost it, but they could have easily won that game. It's just bad luck for them. But they're still, to me, they would still be favorites for the next World Cup.
Yeah, I mean, I know that right now the Olympic soccer is happening, and I believe the final is going to be Brazil, Spain. So that's going to be an exciting contest. But overall, I think that um, I do wish. Well, first of all, I thank Messi for all the joys, and I know that I as just as Messi was coming up in 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 Barcelona football, that's when I was sort of getting more into it, and just some of the amazing games and scores that some of the amazing memories and good times that I've had around soccer has been thanks to him. So I'm grateful to him, to the team. I certainly wish him the best and hope that wherever he lands, he's a happy person.
If I was Messi's life coach, you know what I would recommend?
But
I would advise him to devote all of his resources and his energy to the upcoming World Cup. And what I mean by that is not necessarily to practice more, because I don't think he needs any of that. He just needs to stay fit and in shape to be able to play in the next World Cup. What he needs is to work on his ability to be a leader for that team,
hmm
because I think that's where he lacks. That's where he does fall short, because I think a lot of the players in the Argentine team look to him to be that leader, but he's so passionless when he's out on the field. He doesn't really show a lot of emotion. He doesn't seem to get upset. He doesn't seem to get in the like get in the face of the players when they make mistakes. He's not out there doing any of that, because he's not. That's not the type of person that he is. But I think that's
hmm
the type of person that he needs to be for that team to win. And so, if anybody, right, it's really hard to do these type of transformations where you all of a sudden go from being a very humble, very passive, non-aggressive guy on the field to all of a sudden being more assertive, more aggressive in people's faces. That's really hard to do. But if I'm his life coach, I'm like, hey man, just get the best help you can get and try to do a transformation within the next. How much longer do we have till the next World Cup? Is it going to be next year, or is it going to be postponed because of COVID?
My understanding is that it's going to be next year. I want to say December.
Yeah. So see, so
Uh,
he has a full year and a few months to try to build that mental fortitude to come out with the team in Argentina, and to not hold back, to really be the leader that they need him to be, and maybe they can win if he can drive them with that. If he can can have that passion that the players can feed off of. This is
yeah.
my
So it looks like the World Cup will be November 21st through December 18th of 2022.
okay. So it
So
did get
hope
postponed till 2022.
yeah, so hope you start saving up your pennies so we can go to Qatar and enjoy probably one of the best World Cups that we'll see in a while. But you're absolutely right. I think as we wrap this conversation up, I think that you're absolutely right that it will be, and I think that's been part of the problem that Argentina has relied um, a lot on him. And in some ways, I think you can make the argument that Barcelona too.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that you certainly, if you can have a healthy Di Maria, if you have some of the other players who can also step up, and I think that's part of the reason why, because you can certainly, after Argentina won, and I think they won. Let's not forget that they beat a Brazil that was so dominant in that tournament. I mean, super dominant. I did not think that Argentina had what it takes to beat Brazil, but they did. They just had it that day. So I think that if the Argentinian team can build on this past summer's experience, and to your point, Messi can exert more of that leadership as well as the other players step up. I think that, and also luck, right? Because if they get a good, relatively easy path to the final, they could potentially be world champions,
Yep.
depending who they face and depending what the conditions are. But it it shall be an interesting year or so as we see what additional changes take place in both leagues and national teams,
Yeah. Looking for, excited about what's gonna happen.
like so many things.
Yeah. Okay, let's wrap this up. Thanks everyone for listening. If you enjoy our content, make sure to check us out. We are Brown Perspective. Estamos on YouTube, Instagram, and Twitter. Nos vemos.
Ciao.